Alright, let's see where we're at. Oh, bloody fucking hell. Uh. Alrighty, good on. In fact, I honestly, I don't, I don't, I don't, I don't do a lot. So, anyway, let's get it all, yeah, Jesus Christ. Let's get into this. Fuck off, Iron Gullet. Fucketh, offeth, fuck you.
I'm going to show you how I make pepperoni pizza that rivals any takeout joint. This is what you'll need for the crust. These are the ingredients you'll need for the sauce. And this is what you'll need for the actual pizza itself. So let's get started. In my stand mixer here, I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of sugar and 3/4 of a cup of warm water, about 110 degrees or so. And I'm just going to stir that up to dissolve the sugar a little bit. And then I'm going to take 1 teaspoon of active dry yeast and I'm going to sprinkle that on the top. And I'm not going to bother to stir that in. I'm just going to let it bloom right on top of the water like that. And after about 10 minutes, it'll be nice and foamy. I'm going to add in 1 teaspoon of salt and 1 tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil. And also 2 cups of all-purpose flour. I've attached the dough hook to my mixer, and I'm just going to turn this on and mix it until it starts to pull away from the sides of the bowl and form a dough. Just like that. I'm going to let it go, and I'm going to let the machine knead it for about a minute or so. You don't want to overwork the dough too much. And then I floured my hands, and just taking the dough out of the bowl, and I'm going to shape this into a nice ball. I'm going to take some nonstick spray. I'm going to spray the bowl down. I'm going to put my dough back into the bowl. And I'm just going to toss this to make sure that the dough is completely covered with that nonstick spray. I'm going to spray a little bit more on top just to make sure it's covered.
And gee, for once I was worried you were worried about health or anything like that.
Cover it with a damp towel and put this into a warm spot to rise for about an hour. For my sauce, I've got 6 ounces of tomato paste. I'm going to add 3/4 of a cup of water to that. I'm going to add in 1 teaspoon of basil, 1 teaspoon of onion powder, half a teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of oregano, and half a teaspoon of garlic powder. And using a whisk, I'm just going to whisk this together, and I'm heating this over medium heat, and you want to continue to stir this as you're heating it. And once it gets nice and bubbly, I'm going to turn the heat off, and I'm going to stir in 1 tablespoon of freshly grated Parmesan cheese. You just want to mix that in until it's melted, and then you want to set this off to the side and let it cool completely before you use it. I'm going to preheat my oven to 500 degrees Fahrenheit, and I've got a 16-inch pizza pan here, and I'm just going to dust the top of it lightly with some cornmeal, maybe a tablespoon or so. And I'm going to turn out my dough onto that. I did not bother to punch it down or anything. And using my fingers, I'm just going to pat this out, starting in the center, working my way out and pressing the dough out to the edge of the pan. And you want to leave kind of a lip around the edge for the crust. And then I'm going to take half of my sauce mixture. I'm just going to spoon that out into the center, and then using the back of a spoon, I'm just going to spread this out to within about 3/4 of an inch or so of the edge of the crust. And once you get your sauce spread out, make sure that it's nice and even. You don't have any bald spots on your crust. And then you want to take your mozzarella cheese and just sprinkle this onto the top.
Iron Gullet?
And you want to make sure that you get the cheese all the way to the edge of the sauce. You don't want to...
Do you really want to know what's great? Is I don't give a fuck what you think I said. I really don't give a shit. Go fuck yourself. And God, when it finally happens, when we get an Internet Bill of Rights, all you motherfuckers are toast.
Cover the
Because you can't actually handle insults.
crust, but you want to cover the sauce with your cheese. And then I'm going to take my pepperoni, and starting on the outside, I'm going to place a row of pepperoni, and I'm keeping the pepperoni relatively close to each other because they do shrink up when they bake. And I'm going to go around and continue filling in the center, kind of overlapping the slices, so it looks like that.
All I gotta say to what you said, Iron Gullet, is cry, baby, cry. Cry, cry to heaven. Light a candle, toll a bell, and go fuck yourself. Cry, baby, cry, cry, cry to heaven. If it doesn't do it for you, jam the dildo up fucking more. Cry, baby, cry.
And I'm going to place that into the oven and bake it for 7 minutes until it's nice and golden brown and looks like that. And then I'm just going to take my pizza cutter and slide it underneath and around the edge and make sure that the pizza's not stuck to the pan, and it shouldn't be with the cornmeal. And I'm just going to cut this into 8 slices, and you can use this crust and this sauce for any toppings that you'd like on your pizza. If you want
Looks like a shitty DiGiorno's.
sausage, Canadian bacon, if you want a vegetarian, whatever you like and whatever is your preference, this is perfect for that. And then go ahead and serve yourself up a slice. And there you have it. Homemade pepperoni pizza from scratch. That rivals any takeout joint. Hope you guys enjoy, and thanks so much for watching.
This is fast and easy recipes. Talking at all? Okay, guess not. You gotta Why would I open the lines here? This is my cooking show. You missed your chance on Lord of Patriarchy. Cry, baby, cry, cry, cry to heaven. Alright, I've had enough of this. Let's move on. Alright, here's this pretentious dickhead.
Story. When I was a child, I used to love Domino's. Words cannot describe how much I loved Domino's. Well, this can. Look, I'm not blaming Domino's for that. Obviously, that was my fault. Now, I have more on the story on how that became this. That'll be in a healthy meal video in the new year. But I grew up, and so did my palate. So we're gonna create something that even my younger self would have preferred. And at the end, we might just do something special. So with all that being said, let's make this, shall we? All right, no drive-through. We're calling them because that's what it's about, right? It's pizza delivery.
30 minutes or less.
Thank you for choosing Domino's. This is Becky. Would you like delivery or pickup?
How many robots are there? Delivery.
Got it. What would you like to order?
Can I get 2 medium pepperoni pizzas?
What would you like to order?
Can I get 2 medium pepperoni pizzas?
Your total comes to $50.57, including tax and delivery charges. Delivery charge is not a tip.
Please tip your driver.
So we don't have to.
7 minutes and 30 seconds to order 3 pizzas. Good job with your automation system, Domino's.
I like it.
So we got the box. Yeah, it's pretty good looking, actually. It's probably one of the better ones I've seen. All I smell is pepperoni, but I'm not gonna lie, it does kind of smell good. Who cut this? Yo, what the fuck? This pizza's falling apart. I'm not even trying. Yo, okay. The flavor I don't mind. This is not real pizza, but it tastes good. That being said, texturally, bad. The chew is gone. This is very subpar for Domino's. I remember them being a lot better. Zero chew in the dough. The dough is like cakey. Sauce is way too sweet. This tastes like you've gone to the wrong pizza shop in New York. Honestly, one of the worst Domino pizzas I've ever had in my entire life. This should be a cakewalk. But can someone come in and try this to tell me if this is always like this or if this is just a bad pizza? Has it always been like that?
It tastes like cafeteria pizza.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, it still tastes good. I'm not gonna sit back and say, oh, bread and cheese isn't good. We can do better.
Listen to me. You can't have good pizza without the beauty of the dough. Sorry, Italians. Anyway, let's talk dough. First off, this dough is half Italian and half American. That means it breaks several rules in the Italian handbook of good pizza. Rule number 1, no sugar. I've been yelled at for it. I understand. So yeah, don't do that unless you want to make the Italians mad, and rightfully so. But after all, this is a Domino's, but better, isn't it? First, in a large bowl, combine 3 3/4 cup, or 570 grams of double O tipo flour, a 1/4 teaspoon or 1 gram of diastatic malt powder, which is optional but recommended. It helps give the dough some color, and there's a link in the description for that. 1.5 tablespoons or 19 grams of sugar, 2 teaspoons or 5 grams of fine sea salt. Mix that together till thoroughly combined, and then separately you need 1.5 cups or 370 grams of water at 95 degrees Fahrenheit, lukewarm. To that you whisk in 2 1/4 teaspoon or 8 grams of instant yeast until dissolved. Add the yeast water to the flour and mix by hand until a rough dough comes together. Then knead that by hand until you get a smooth, supple dough, which takes about 5 minutes. Roll that into a light ball, add to a grease bowl, and cover with plastic wrap. Then just place it in the fridge to rise overnight. Yes, you can also rise it at room temp for 2 hours, but it's highly recommended that you do it in the fridge overnight. Why, Josh? I don't want to wait for that. I'll make it simple. A much more developed flavor and a significantly more ideal puff during bake. But the biggest thing is it's so much easier to stretch the dough once it's had ample time to rest. Trying to help you here, okay? Once that dough is done, pull it out of the fridge, punch all the air that you spent literally hours generating completely out of the dough, and divide it into 3 even pieces, which should be about 300 to 325 grams each. Roll those into doit balls and place them on a baking sheet that's been greased, floured, and generously dusted in semolina. Now listen, at the end of this, I'm going to show you how to use this same exact recipe, but how to turn that into a pan pizza. Yes, the Domino's pan pizza. This is a twofer. Anyway, cover that with greased plastic wrap and proof at room temp for 2 to 3 hours. Now for the sauce. I kept it surprisingly simple. You don't need to be extra fancy to beat the disrespect that is Domino's pizza sauce. First, medium sauce pot, add 2 tablespoons or 22 grams of extra virgin olive oil and heat over medium. Once the oil starts to heat up, add 2 cloves of thinly sliced garlic, saute for about 1 minute, then add 3/4 of a teaspoon or 3 grams of red pepper flakes, toast just until fragrant, about 30 seconds, then add a 28-ounce or 800-gram can of crushed San Marzano tomatoes, the classic can you see in all great sauces. This can brings the seasonality of the world's greatest sauce, tomatoes, to your home year-round. Now add a little pinch of sugar and season to taste with salt. Maybe a little bit of pepper if you're feeling a little how you doing. Shout out to Koosh for that. Follow that with 1 teaspoon or 1 gram of dried thyme and 1 teaspoon or half a gram of dried oregano. Again, we're going for a more stereotypical American pizza flavor with the dry herbs. Last secret, if you have a little chunk or two, and I'm talking like 2 to 3 ounces of pepperoni, toss that in the sauce to give it that extra oh my gosh. Bring that to a simmer over a medium heat and let that reduce for 8 minutes, or till the sauce is thickened. Pour the sauce into a bowl and immediately add salt to taste if needed, along with 2 tablespoons or 28 grams of unsalted butter. Stir that in until emulsified and fully melted into the sauce. Now the cheese is simple, quite literally just a mix of 2 cups or 240 grams of low moisture mozzarella grated on the girthy side of the grater, and 2 cups or 210 grams of Monterey Jack cheese, also girthy grated. Oh, and finally, half a cup or 35 grams of finely grated Parmigiano Reggiano, tossed together till combined evenly, and that's your cheese mix. Now we need our garlic butter crust brush. In a small saucepan, add a 1/4 cup or 56 grams of salted butter, half a teaspoon or 2 grams of garlic powder, a 1/4 teaspoon or 1 gram of onion powder, a 1/4 teaspoon or 1 gram of which is optional, but like, come on. Heat over medium just until melted, then cut off the heat. Add 3 cloves of grated garlic and a generous pinch of flaky salt. Stir that to combine, and then just keep that melted, but don't let it cook anymore or the garlic will go bitter. Now for the pepperoni, you'll need a half pound or 227 grams. My recommendation would be to buy a whole pepperoni stick if it's small like this guy. So just slice that bad boy up. The benefit here is you can slice it as thick or as thin as you want. You want those thick, peppy cups? Then this is where you go. I sliced mine on a mandolin a little over a 1/4 inch thick. All right, it's pizza time. First up, fire a pizza oven to about 700 to 750 degrees Fahrenheit. What did you say, Josh? Not everybody has a pizza oven like you asshole. Guess what? You can either do the pan pizza version, which we're gonna do in a second, or you can follow our New York pizza method if you're using a home oven. Link in the description for that video. Now, take a piece of the pizza dough. Using your knuckles, begin to punch out a thin layer in the center, working your way out to create a lightly thicker crust that runs around the edges. That's the crust. Drape the dough around your closed fists and gently stretch the dough while rotating around the perimeter until you get an evenly sized 10 to 12 inch circle without tearing the dough. You tear the dough, game over. I'm just kidding. If you make a small tear, you can always squeeze it together. Get your sauce, ladle it on lightly, and spread towards the edge of the crust. Sprinkle your cheese mixture as generously as you want. Brush the edges with plain extra virgin olive oil. Add on your pepperoni to your heart's desire, but don't go too light here, all right? Come on, it's pepperoni time. Load it up into your hot pizza oven and cook for 25 to 30 seconds. Rotate to the other side and cook for another 25 to 30 seconds. Pull your pizza out. Immediately brush that beautiful crust with your MSG garlic butter. Cut it up and enjoy. This is a gorgeous pizza. I can smell the garlic emanating off of it. The peppy cups glistening in the light. Before we taste this, we're doing the pan pizza version, so don't complain. It'll be after this, all right? First off, I did put pineapple on this. What are you gonna do about it? One thing I've noticed is that hot people like pineapple on pizza. It's got the crust, it's got that char, it's got that smokiness, and the sauce, garlicky, a little tiny bit spicy, a little herbaceous. Now, Kendrick. You want to catch your breath first for a second? You good?
Yeah, give me a second.
We got 2 pizzas just for you, Kendrick. Here's number 1. Pizza number 2.
Okay. All right. I don't know if it's just I'm lightheaded because I used up all my magic, but this one right here, that's the good one. Pineapple on pizza.
Oh, God. It's like moist. This is like juicy, but tropically juicy. Like, we won, but we're not done. On to the pan pizza. This is the exact same recipe. You don't have to change any of the ingredients. It's just a different technique. You see, this is how much technique changes what you do in the kitchen. Now, rewind to when we divided our dough into 3 even pieces. Before we shaped it into balls, instead you're going to generously grease a seasoned 10-inch cast iron skillet with about 3 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. It will seem like a lot, you need it. This also means you're gonna need 3 10-inch cast iron skillets. I really recommend you do the cast iron skillet method because to me, it gets a much better crust than using using any other pan. 1 piece of dough, 1 10-inch cast iron skillet. Now take 1 piece of dough, shape it into a very light ball. Place it into the center of your prepared skillet, then just press and stretch as close to the edges as you can without tearing. It's not going to reach the edges right away. Cover it, rest it for 10 minutes, stretch some more until it's nearly to the edge like this. Now cover that with greased plastic wrap, proof for 2 to 3 hours at room temperature. Then while proofing, preheat your oven to the maximum temperature, which is going to be around 500 Fahrenheit. Now gently punch out the center to create a crust perimeter. Yes, it's going to deflate a little, don't worry. Sauce the center nicely, cheese it up generously. You know, maybe hit it with a little bit of olive oil, a little bit of black pep. Pop that into your ripping oven for 15 to 20 minutes or till the cheese is melted and browned and the crust is cooked through. But more specifically, when the crust is so crispy, you could practically hear it crunch just by looking at it. Now remove from the oven, immediately brush the edge of the crust with your garlic MSG butter, and optionally you can add the following: thinly sliced chives, fresh grated Parmigiano Reggiano, and a generous drizzle of something sweet like a spicy honey. Honestly, this combination just alone is beautiful, so I would highly recommend you try it. Now, despite our Italian pizza sacrilege, something about these pizzas still feel very special. So let's see how they stand up against Domino's and taste test.
All right. Theirs is a lot bigger. That's not fair. It's got a crusty, definitely more cheesy. I didn't put pep on mine. Not a smart move. These guys did not cut their pizza. Moment of truth, though. First off, Kendrick, I gotta do this for you. I'm sorry, buddy. Wow, I don't even want to eat this. I haven't even tasted this yet. I was supposed to taste this first. My brain was just like that. If you think this didn't win, you're out of your mind. Depth of flavor, the sweetness, the cheese, the chewy and luscious and aerated and moist and What, no magic this time?
I gotta recharge my mana.
How do you feel about pan pizza from Domino's?
Got it every Friday. Born and raised off of the personal pan pizza.
Well, pan pizza this. Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
Goodness. Gorge. I mean, the holy shit. That's so good. I get what you were talking about earlier. This does not taste like the Domino's I remember. If for whatever reason, just tastes worse.
Just try this corner piece.
You can't beat that crunch. Tongue just gets coated in cheese, honey. It's oh God, everything
Making
about
love to your tongue.
it. It's so good.
Thanks, Kendrick. That was really awesome.
You know what? I think this recharged my mana.
Oh. What's happening? B-roll.
Hey everyone, welcome to Just Being Us. Today we're about to make the ultimate homemade pepperoni pizza. Get ready for a flavor-packed journey that's going to take your pizza game to a whole new level. Here's our ingredient list for today's pizza. Check out what you'll need. 1,000 grams of all-purpose flour, 620 milliliters of lukewarm water, 2 teaspoons of salt, 2 tablespoons of olive oil, 1 cup of pizza sauce, 1 cup of sliced pepperoni, and 1 cup of mozzarella cheese. All right, let's dive into step 1, making the dough. First up, we're making yeast water. Mix a half cup of warm water with 1 teaspoon of yeast and 2 teaspoons of salt. Fun fact, yeast is a living organism that ferments and produces carbon dioxide, making our dough rise and get fluffy. Let it sit until you see that awesome foam. Now let's jump into making the dough. Add your flour to the mixer, then pour in the yeast water and olive oil. Mix it on medium speed for about 7 minutes. Gradually adding the remaining 620 milliliters of lukewarm water. When the dough clings to the hook, it's ready to go. Don't forget to coat it with a little oil to keep it from drying out. Wrap it up in cling film and let it rise for 2 hours. Here's a fun fact. Pizza dough should be smooth and elastic, with a delightful yeasty aroma. Next up, step 2, stretching and flattening the dough. Unwrap your risen dough and punch it down to get rid of those air bubbles. Shape it into a ball, dust your board with flour, and place the dough on it. Divide it into 4 equal portions, each weighing about 270 grams. Take 1 portion and start flattening it out with your hands. If you prefer, you can also use a rolling pin. Now let's get to step 3, making pizza. Fold the edges of your dough to create a thicker crust.
I don't really have to do that.
Spread a generous layer of pizza sauce. Sprinkle on that gooey mozzarella cheese. And top with delicious sliced pepperoni.
What, did a cat claw it?
Finally,
Seriously, what happened
step
to that
4,
pepperoni?
baking pizza. Preheat your oven to 500 degrees Fahrenheit. Bake your pizza for 8 to 10 minutes. When it's out, check the bottom to make sure it's perfectly baked. Pull out a slice to show off that cheesy, gooey goodness. Homemade pizza is awesome because you can customize it just...
Dude, your fucking bottom and crust looks underdone.
Just the way you love it. Thanks for tuning in to Just Being Us. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to turn on the bell notification so you never miss an update.
Well, I got what I wanted from this.